Okay.
Coach, when you made the switch to Cameron, I know you were apprehensive early. When you made the switch to Cameron in the starting lineup, what was the reason? What were you
Well,
thinking?
we just had to get through. We had to get through non-league. I don't think it was not something we weren't going to do. It's just we couldn't do it with 31 game schedule. You got to stay healthy. You got to hope you stay healthy, and you can't wear them down. And Alex was coming off of back surgery, so we didn't want to be playing those guys 35 minutes in the non-conference. And it worked out. You know, it doesn't always work out, but with only two bigs, you had to be careful that way. It's one of the reasons why the last basically 3 weeks of the season we've done very little going 5-on-5 in practice. We can't sustain any kind of injury in practice going into these important games. So down the stretch, and it all worked. It doesn't always work, but this year it worked. And being able to bring Chad off the bench has given us a good lift. Play a little different when he's in. Give the bigs some rest, but we've obviously been our most dominant when we're big.
Can you talk about the Cam and Alex thing has worked pretty well, especially offensively. I know it's worked defensively too. But specific to Alex, he's up for Defensive Player of the Year. Why, other than just the block shots, why is he deserving of something like that?
Well, he's 7 foot tall with about 9 foot wingspan. So not only is he I think he's blocked more shots than 5 league teams combined, which is an amazing stat. The next amazing stat would be how many shots he's changed. Alex gives you somebody and both those bigs have been terrific. They haven't just been okay. They've been terrific through 31 games offensively and defensively. But Alex, and I think the biggest improvement that Alex from his freshman year and Cam from his freshman and sophomore year, they've learned how to guard by moving their feet of positioning and stay out of foul trouble. We've had very little foul trouble up front all year long. And that's always a maturity individually of understanding how to guard early and moving your feet and working with positioning. And both of those guys have done that.
Have you seen it reflected in when there have been some defensive struggles or when a team has gotten hot on you guys, it's been from the outside. Have teams stopped down the stretch of league play, stopped even trying to attack Alex?
Well, I think the only team that we've really had to make any kind of adjustments with post defense has been Colorado State. That's the only team in our league or anybody really that we've played all year long where we've either had to help Alex or help Cam, talk about trapping, talk about digging hard. For the most part, we don't mind letting those guys play one-on-one in a post, and that's obviously a credit to how much we believe in them defensively.
When you went to them, did you know that they would work so well together? They kind of look for each other.
Well, they're two very smart guys. They both have very good basketball IQs. They complement each other. You got one that's 7 foot and long. You got another one that's 6'8", about 245, and can physically beat you up. Both of them are good passers. Both of them can shoot the ball and stretch the defenses of the three-point line. Cam's a good driving big man. They've just gotten a lot of experience. We haven't had a lot of experience. It's not like both of them, one's a junior and one's a sophomore, and they've had 2 and 3 years together doing this. They've gotten better because here in the last 2 months they've had a lot of experience playing together.
Does it seem strange a team that was 4 guards and all we're sitting here talking about is 2 big men as a season?
Well, to begin the year, we talked a lot about 4 guards just because, one, we didn't know about the total health of Alex, of how he was going to handle things. And we really went into the season thinking 4 guards. That's why we didn't go big. Once we decided to get Walk out of the starting lineup, we didn't go big then either. We went with Chad because we knew we could not wear those 2 bigs down, playing them both starting minutes. We really wanted to go about almost 20 minutes for a better part of the non-conference season. We knew that if both things developed well, both Cam and Alex and their health developed well, then we could eventually go big and sub the way we're subbing now. But things change. You look one way in October, and you can look totally different in March. I don't know if we're totally different, but at least how we're playing and being able to, I think their maturity defensively has allowed us to do the things we're doing. Both Cam and Alex have had to battle foul trouble, especially Cam in their early years, and neither one of them have had to do that this year.
As a follow-up to starting the season with the 4 guards, is there any update with Demetrius?
No, he's still suspended.
So he will not be making the trip?
No.
Coach, give us a scouting report for
Well, it's hard. You know, we don't know who we're playing, obviously. But the good thing is we've played both of these teams in the last 10 days. We've played Wyoming here in our last game here at the pit, and then obviously this last road trip to play Nevada. So we're comfortable knowing who they are and what they're about. Obviously, Wyoming, more ball control, more slowed tempo. Nevada wants to get up and down a little bit more. Both of them are predominantly man-to-man defensive teams. We'll throw some zones at you. Nevada, very strong backcourt as far as scoring goes. Wyoming has the up-front guys of Nance and Washington that can really hurt you in the front court. So maybe a little bit of different approach depending on who it is that we're playing. A little bit more concerns on the front line with Wyoming. A little bit more concern with the backcourt if it's Nevada.
Coach, was it good for the team to suffer a tough loss before tournament?
No, I don't think it ever is good to lose. I'm not a big believer in that, and I'm not so sure we lost. I think they just won it. I looked into the tape, and I believed it after the game. I thought we played well. We didn't execute defensively maybe at the level we had been executing, but they made a lot of threes. They made some tough shots, and sometimes you got to give the opponent credit for making shots. And they made a lot of shots, and they made some big plays. We had a couple breakdowns late in the game defensively that we normally don't have. But, no, we don't look at it that way. I think we look at it just as, now it's the season's over. Now it's the total sum of it. And to go 13-3, and I said this on the conference call, to go 13-3, lead the league wire to wire, and never lose back-to-back games in this league, that's a phenomenal 2.5 months. And only team to win 5 road games. I mean, our guys did some really special things. So, it is what it is. It was a loss, but it's not something that I don't think coaches lost much sleep on it, and hopefully the players didn't, and hopefully we'll have a couple good days practice going into the tournament.
Coach, how concerning is the defensive effort, as you said, against Air Force?
Not.
Into the postseason?
Not. We had a great defensive effort at Nevada. So there's going to be games like that. That's like asking me, how concerning is it scoring 34 at San Diego State. That was a big issue after that game. Didn't affect us much. From that game on, we continued to win. So the concern part is just defense. It doesn't have anything to do with Air Force or that particular game. It really has to do with if we're going to advance in the conference tournament or advance in the NCAA tournament, we have to be the defensive team we've been all year. If we're not, then we're not going to advance. It's really that simple. But that game doesn't. I don't look at that game as saying that we've got issues defensively.
Coach, if it is Nevada, how do you deal with those two guards?
We've played well against both of them in both games. Story has gotten away from us a little bit in both games, but we've done a really good job with Burton. So, trying to make somebody else beat you instead of both of those guys. So, if it is Nevada, we got to stay away from Story and Burton both getting 30. I think that's a big key. But we've always been able to do a pretty good job of whether it's shutting down 1 or 2 guys and then not allowing the role guys to have big nights. And I think that's always going to be a big key. Just like we've always done. We've had great games against both of them. I don't think they've gotten to 55 points in either game. So, we've defended these two teams very well. Whether we do that in Vegas, I don't know yet. But both of these games we've defended very well.
Coach, they're announcing the league awards later. We won't have a chance to talk to you about it. Can we go through some of those scenarios, starting with coach?
Well, it's hard because it's hypothetical. So I don't really want to get into hypothetical, but and I don't want to talk about me or myself, but I hope the team is honored because we got a lot of balance on our team. But we won this league by 2 full games. We had it clinched with 2 full games yet to play. We never left first place. We didn't come from behind. From the very first game here at home against Vegas, we won it. We stayed in first place throughout the entire 2.5 months. And that's a great body of work, and we've done it on both sides. We've been the best defending team, I think, in the league consistently this year. So we should get honors on the defensive team. Our starting 5 has been tremendous. As good a starting 5. I'll take our starting 5 anywhere. This starting 5 is a special group that have won championships before. They weren't picked to win this league. And all they did was lead it wire to wire. So hopefully our starters can gain some honors as well. And I've always been a proponent, whether we've won it or haven't won it, that the Conference Player of the Year comes from the league champ. I've always felt that it's the way it was. I was a player. I can remember my freshman year. I didn't win Player of the Year because we didn't win the league. It's just the way it is. I think that you award teams that do the best body of work. Teams that are not winning the league, obviously every team's got to have scores and every team's got to have rebounders. But the name of the game is still winning, and hopefully our guys benefit from that, and that's why I think Kendall should be Player of the Year.
Does the Paradise Jam help you for what you face?
Yeah, we'll go back to that, Lee, now. That was part of why we get in exempt tournaments. We try to get in exempt tournaments every year, and the only time all year long when we've been able to play 3 games in 4 days was the Paradise Jam. So we've kind of banked that, and now we'll bring that back out this week and talk to the guys about the importance of, if you don't beat UIC, that thing takes a whole different turn. You got a middle game like that we had where we're down and have to make a huge comeback, and then you finally get to the championship game. So we'll look at all those things. Hopefully we'll be able to advance in the tournament, and each game we advance, we kind of pull out one of those games from the Paradise Jam to talk about. But from a rest standpoint, from being there, done that, we've been able to win 3 games in 4 days already this year. So we'll obviously go back to that to try to let the guys think about that.
You always talk about when we talk Keys USA, it's more important about what we do and our team. What are you looking for?
Just being who we are. We don't have to change things. I think there are going to be some teams in the tournament that, as good as they are, they got to change some things. They got to do some things a little bit better. They got to be a little bit more special or put some wrinkles in. We just got to be who we are. We've been consistent all year. We got to play well, just like everybody else in this tournament. You're not going to advance unless you play well. This is not a mediocre league. This is arguably the best league in the country. So you're not going to play average and win on a neutral floor. You're going to have to play well. You got to shoot the ball well. You got to defend it well. You got to win the transition game. We're not giving up easy baskets. I think the most amazing stat we've had over the last month has been our turnovers. We've averaged less than 10 turnovers the last 8 games. That's huge. If we can go into postseason and average 10 or fewer turnovers, that's giving not just our offense a chance, but we're able to set our defense. And when we get to set our defense, we're pretty good at that end. So I think those are going to be keys going forward in this tournament.
Coach, how crucial is it for Tony Snell to keep producing the way he has in the past?
Well, not just producing offensively. I think it's been really good. People like to make a lot of to-do about his scoring. I think he had 21 or 23 at Air Force, and we lost. So it's not just about scoring. I think where Tony, in my mind, Tony has made the biggest adjustment and the biggest improvement has been the defensive end. He's become a very good defender for us. So now we've got 3 outstanding defenders in that backcourt, and that's been huge for us. He's handling the ball better. He's shooting the ball better. He's looking for his shot more. But I really like what he's doing on the defensive end. I think that's helped us more than anything.
Coach, do you think you guys have to win this tournament to get a 2 seed?
Oh, I have no idea. I think the seeding should be awarded. If I'm going to talk about NCAA seeding, we're the #1 ranked RPI league in the country. I think our league's deserving of 5 teams right now. That could grow depending on what happens this week. And then I think the next step is making sure the seeds are done right. And if you're playing in the #1 league in the country, seeding should fall out accordingly. And whether we're a 1, 2, 3 seed, I have no idea. There's still more games to be played. But I think you could probably be asking that question about 4 or 5 other teams that are right there where we are, where our resume probably looks better. We're still the only team in the country that has 16 wins against the top 100 RPI. The team that's considered the number one seed in the pool right now is Duke. They have 15. So, our resume's really good. So I would hope that regardless of what happens this week, you can't take away the body of work. These are neutral games. Our road record is what it is, and it's as good as anybody in the country. So that is done. Now all we're trying to do is build, 1, towards another championship, but 2, try to build that 3-0 neutral record up.
We got to switch them out if you like.
Okay, thanks, guys.